Bienvenidos, fans of the hottest entertainment on the planet. I'm Enfuego here, and a Rapido Fuego review right out of the theater after watching the latest much buzzed about genre picture entitled Weapons. Now, this is coming from writer-director Zach Kreger, I believe it is, and so, yeah, man, his previous film, Barbarian, got a whole lot of love, to quote Zepp, and I was not a part of that contingent. I thought it was okay, a little derivative, and also just a little too goofy for my taste. This film is a significant improvement, although I'm not going to go so far as to say that I loved it. Now, some positives about it were definitely the fact that the mystery of this whole classroom of kids, except for one, disappearing, most definitely kept me engaged throughout. You know, I was intrigued. It didn't exactly go into places that I expected. That doesn't mean I was ultimately fulfilled with where they ended up going, but yeah, I was engaged in guessing and all of that good stuff. I did quite enjoy the assembly of the film and how it's a lot more of an ensemble than I was actually anticipating, because this one had a lot of viral marketing that I deliberately just disengaged myself from because I wanted to go in with as fresh of a perspective as possible. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting characters in this one. I mean, I knew that Josh Brolin and, you know, Julie Garner, the Blondie, were both in this, and we're definitely going to be like more of the, like, you know, main sort of roles and stuff like that. But dare I say, there were some very amusing supporting characters in this. You've got Alden Ehrenreich, I want to say his name is, you know, the dude who was the young Han Solo. He's great as a cop in this. He's got some funny scenes, especially with this younger, like, kind of druggy kid that he's going after. So yeah, the movie just kept going in places that I was like, huh, this is interesting. Now, I do think at a little over 2 hours, it is a bit long in the tooth. It could have been trimmed down a little bit, and especially in the midsection, it kind of meanders a little bit and, you know, bides its time before really getting to the explanation of the disappearance of all these kids, and also the one single kid, Alex, I believe, who did great little performance by that young kid, just giving some explanation as to context about, you know, why he was, you know, spared or whatever. So yeah, I mean, as a whole, I did dig this, and yet, you know, whereas the humor landed a lot more for me in this one than when, like, Barbarian got goofier that I mentioned, I don't know, it did hit on a lot of the humor, especially when it, like, went from this more serious, somber tone about, like, you know, grief and guilt and stuff like that into just a little bit of a lighter sort of tone. And, you know, this is non-spoilers or anything, but I will say that the finale definitely went for it. I'll give them that. So yeah, check it out. It was interesting.